This week on Hot Rod Build Series number 4, I want to discuss number 1, the moisture content, final moisture content. Then I want to talk, mark out the wood that we're going to use using templates, and then we're going to go over just a little more in depth on why we're using the black locust. And then we'll make some kerfing, and finally just get we'll have all our wood, and we'll put it together that's going to take to build this guitar. And so we'll be ready to actually start building. I'm Byrl with Byrl Guitars, and welcome to ResoBiz, where everything is greater with a resonator. Alright, this has been out here, well, it's working on a month. I shut the dehumidifier off. I even shut the little fan off down there. The other day I just unplugged it. This is kind of interesting. These clamps I had on here were on real tight. Look at that. It's about ready to fall off. And that just shows you the water's evaporated and the pieces of wood have shrank. So we'll see how we do. We'll measure it up and see how it does. I've got the wood laid out here, and I put it together here, and I got my moisture meter. We'll take a look and see how this does. That's a good sign right there. Accurate within +4 or -4. I would say it's probably around 8%. So that's good. That's real good. Now what I'll do is we're going to put this, we'll plane this down, and we're going to get an environment that is, this is the main shop that I cut everything in, and it's not dehumidified or held at a special. Whatever it is outside, that's what the humidity is in here, moisture content of the air. And so we'll put this in a controlled environment before we glue it, because it is our neck. Well, let's get this vise out of here. We'll take it in and run the moisture tester over it, see if it's good and dry. Everybody needs a vise in the middle of their dobro to make it play good. I'm doing this with one hand. There we go. Slab of walnut underneath this was just for weight. It could probably be used for something, but it's not important. That stuff's gonna be an important one. That hackberry's coming out good. And that hackberry is not extremely pretty right now. When that stuff's finished, that is going to be real pretty. And I've used it for guitar stuff, but never a whole body. This is going to be a first time. It'll be interesting to see what it sounds like. So there's my box, empty. I can climb inside that thing. That's the size of it. I think I've given you the measurements already. So I was wanting you to see, this is the hackberry. I took a piece off here. I have to stack this stuff up so that I get 3/4 of an inch, because this reads down inside the depth of, or inside the wood. I don't get a good reading if I don't have 3/4 of an inch at least thick a piece of wood. So we're hitting a 4, and I told you before it's plus or minus a few, so this could be around 8% somewhere. But it was 30, that's done in a month. It's not bad in that little kiln, 30%. So they're both reading really about the same. So one was dried, it was dead. This was a live tree that fell recently, maybe the early part of this year or last year, and it was cut up. And this one had the higher moisture content, or excuse me, lower, this locust that had been dead, it was like 19 or 20, and this was right at 30. Now they're both the same. So that little simple kiln works pretty good. It's going to be pretty. Although we're going to paint it black and you won't see it. But it could be really pretty. So what I'm doing now is, I don't think you can see it in the video, maybe you can, but I've got the lines marked out on here for the sides. And they're on both boards, and both these boards are just a little different. And if you were building a guitar that I'll get to my thought in a second. It's early morning, so I get lost in a thought while I can't talk and put tape on at the same time. If you're building a guitar that the sides, everything's book matched, everything is matched. This piece came from like 2 or 3 slices above, or below, yeah, probably above, closer to the top of the log than the one on the bottom. The reason for it is imperfections I'm trying to avoid in some of them. Anyhow, what I'm doing is I've drawn the lines on here and I've matched them up. I'm getting ready to cut them on the bandsaw. So these pieces are, I'll cut them out the same. So I got 2 pieces that are cut the same. And then I'll prep them a little bit farther after that. Sides. This thing dips down. This is these pieces actually curve and come together to join right where the neck is, and this is actually dipped down because the end of the guitar gets narrower. So I just pre-cut it, and then when I'm actually tapering the back and leveling the sides and everything, it's closer to being done. Let's get some backs out. So I left some of that edge, live edge, because I'm going to put this on the table saw and cut a straighter shot there. So when I start my planing to get the edge ready to join together. I'm not fighting a lot of whip-to-do on it, but this rough thing will work. Same thing again. Can you see that? There's the line for the center of the back, and then I cut real wide on this. I might cut a little bit extra off here, but a little bit extra so I can fudge with my template if I need to. But just roughing it out right now. So a while back I was telling you about the reason that I chose the black locust, and I was saying that I had a piece of koa. I'll show you the non-sand or stained side. I had a piece of koa that didn't sound, I thought, as good as the locust. I was hoping I could show you. I don't know if you can hear it though, but you can hear there's a little bit of a tone to that, and you can hear it when you rub on it. In a longer piece, you can hear it better. And so I'd gotten a piece of koa. This was with it for, it's like it's a sample piece or something. And I've kept it ever since. But one day I was working on a similar thickness in black locust, and it was a longer piece. And you could just, I don't know if you can hear that, but I can hear, I mean, it just sounds like it's got a higher pitch tone, it's denser. But this has like a bell sound to it. As far as if I was to choose one, based on how they sound as tap tone, I would choose this. I was just totally surprised at the sound of this. Maple doesn't ring out like this does. Walnut doesn't ring out like this stuff does. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like it's begging to be turned into something that plays music. So I gave it its chance, and I like the sound of it in a dobro. It is definitely, if you want to know how it sounds, it definitely sounds more like a maple guitar on steroids. All right, I want to cut some kerfing. So I've already cut 2 notches here. And this is how I do a reverse kerf. It's got a kind of a bevel to the edge, but that leaves all this smooth on the inside. There's some other reasons for doing this particular way that have to do with the way that this connects with the top of the guitar. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about or what this is for, I'll show you in a little bit. This is the piece that goes on the edge of the sides. It runs the shape of the sides, and this being the top, it would go like this. Usually when you see guitars, it has these notches cut on this side, and it shows this part, but I do a reverse one. And it'll be bent, go on the very top, and then this will be sanded flush, and the top will rest on this. It gives it a big gluing surface. That surface is more important than you might think, though, as I've learned in recent days. And so the way you make these is very, very particularly important. I've actually got something else in the works as far as design, but this is the way I've been doing it for quite a while, so this is what we're doing today. here's that kerfing, and I already had the stock made, so I have a 1-inch, 3/4 inch board. I cut it into 1/4 inch strips, cut a 1/4 inch strips off of it on the table saw, and then I run this through a router with a round over on it, or whatever you call that, and I get that shape, and then I run it through the bandsaw to get the kerfing on it. And we got our brace for the top, and this is the cone will sit on this piece. And we have our piece of wood for the back, top wood. We have our sides, and here's our neck. This is our this will be the tail block, and the neck block will come out of what's left of this. So I was sitting here looking at it, I think that's our guitar right there. Now the next step is I'm going to plane some of this down, run it through the planer, and then I'm going to drum sand it, thickness sand it to get it just the right thickness, because thickness matters. You can control a lot of tone in the way that you do that part. Thank you for watching, taking the time to watch. I do appreciate it very much. And if it's been helpful, if it's been enjoyable, subscribe and press the like button down there on your screen. And next week we'll be talking about, I don't know how much I'll be talking. I'll be showing what the kerfing actually does. If you're not familiar with that, we'll be getting some sides bent, thickness sanding, and getting backs prepped and ready for the top bracing. And so a lot of actually fun and exciting things to do. Looking forward to it.